Michigan CMH joining us. Lori, thanks for being a part of the conversation this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We truly adore this partnership. You are such a mental health advocate along with us, and we're fighting the good fight together. So thank you.
Ab- Absolutely, we appreciate you saying that, and thank you for this partnership because I'll tell you, every time we talk, I learned something, and I hope the listeners and the viewers do as well. That they can take away from this conversation ways to help themselves. Help others be able to understand that there are various programs and that the resources, and I think this is the most important part of it all when you look at the different aspects of mental health, is that there are resources here in the community in Mason County, Oceana County, Lake County, and the surrounding counties, but West Michigan CMH focusing on those core three counties that were not there years ago. You had to travel to the big city for different resources, and so it has to be nice to have those from your perspective available to the community members.
Communities that are able to come together to help raise awareness and grow and learn and do more so that we're able to make sure there are no lives lost. That's our goal. Yes, that's extremely important. And we are so incredibly proud to be a part of that. But we've got work to do, which is what we'll discuss today.
Yeah, absolutely. It is September, so it is Suicide Prevention Month. And West Michigan CMH has programs and resources and staff members that are dealing with this. And Lori, do you mind filling in the blank if you're able to? Are we dealing with the conversation of suicide on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? What is the what is the frequency like, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. So from an West Michigan CMH agency standpoint, of course, we cannot plan when someone will come through the door and need that sort of help or have that struggle that day. It's a fight we fight every day, 100%. We want to make sure that we're always doing our part to get word out there, to be able to have conversations, to be able to grow. As an agency, we're part of a program called Zero Suicide. Our
Hmm.
goal is to have zero suicide, um, and exactly what the name says. So we work very hard in making sure that our whole agency team is receives the training in regards to that program and education, that we stay on top of that annually, that we're making sure that we're having conversations when we need to. But the other side of that is that, if you're a listener out there and you're hearing this conversation, you might know someone that is having a struggle. So we want to make sure that part of this conversation today is, what can you do? Um, and you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be able to know how to have that conversation, but it is really important that you do make note of and keep track of resources that are available to you, like from
Hmm.
the community that you live in. 988 is a national resource, but then also for Mason Lake and Oceana County, West Michigan CMH is available 24/7, 365. So if you don't know how to have that conversation, but you know that a family or a loved one is in danger, trouble, might need help or support, you want to make sure that you have our numbers handy so that you can pass that along to them, because it's really important to not ignore those signs, but have those conversations. And you don't have to have all the answers. Just know the direction to point them to.
I've always been curious about this, and I hope I don't give you a stumper here, but when we look at the national phone numbers that they can text or call versus the local numbers, like you mentioned with CMH, is there have you seen over time? Because again, we never want to discourage anybody from reaching out to any of those numbers.
Right.
But just as much as I do is that sometimes when you reach out to that local resource, that there's a faster reaction time, or there is a different reaction in
Mhm.
some cases. Do you
Sure.
have information that you can share with us in regards to that?
So, what I think is really important to know is that when you're reaching out for help, that's the most important thing that you can do. To know that you have support out there. Um, if you reached out directly to CMH and you're a resident of Mason Lake in Oceana County, are you going to get connected to us quicker, sooner? Of course. Um, but that doesn't mean that 988 can't be helpful in its own realm. And they also would help you get connected to us.
Okay.
But they also have trained clinicians that are also to help navigate difficult situations while you're in that moment. So
Mhm.
you will get immediate support. It's that aftercare help that you might need that they'll get you connected to. That's less of a direct route, but they have so many knowledgeable resources. They collect data. They help to make sure that they're able to get you into the right hands when you need that. So they very much so are a cornerstone in help that's out there and that is available. There are options to call, text, chat. They have also services that are bilingual services that are available. They
Mhm.
also have services for veterans that are available. I think it's like you hit 3 4 to reach someone in Spanish, or it prompts you to for the if you're looking for bilingual services, which we can provide as well as an
Yeah.
agency, but they help you with that as well. And when you're reaching out for help, it could be hard. So maybe you don't want, maybe you're afraid of reaching out to somebody directly that's local. You might have a fear that they might know you. There's no wrong door if you're reaching out for help. So it's brave, it's courageous, and it's something that that anyone does. I think it's a really incredible step that you're doing if you're trying to seek help. So whether it's 988, whether it's another resource that's out there, whether it's us directly, as long as you're getting the care that you need, the help and the support that you need, that's the most important thing. It's incredibly brave of you to do that. So yeah, we want to make sure that everybody knows that if you're taking that first step, good for you. We're proud of you.
Well, and to have more resources than few
Right.
resources is so important.
Mhm.
You brought up something just a moment ago. What if that person that has thought about suicide, contemplated it, but hasn't talked with friends or family members, or because I think there's sometimes where a person will say things for that help, right? That
Mhm.
they're putting out those red flags or those flags or these indicators to say, "Hey, I'm thinking of this, or this is my thought," and hopefully that family member or that friend will respond, will react.
Mhm.
But what about on the other side? And this goes back to you had mentioned about, well, if you call in, maybe you're worried that that person knows you because
Mhm.
again, small communities.
Right.
uh, how confident are you of the confidentiality? I mean, this is healthcare, of course, but
Mhm.
if somebody that is listening to us right now or viewing this segment needs to reach out, but needs to have that reassurance of just that one-on-one confidentiality, how do you feel about that?
I'm extremely confident in not only West Michigan CMH as an agency um, and their ability, their mindfulness, the trainings we go through annually, the conversations we have daily over the importance of making sure we are providing the most valuable, respectful, personal conversations with the people that we serve is so extremely important. So
Mhm.
yes, HIPAA is extremely important to us, and it's built into how we provide our services. So yeah, from our standpoint, I know without a shadow of a doubt. Also, from
Mhm.
988 standpoint, I know they're centered on that as well. We all have regulations that we follow to make sure that that conversation is extremely private. It only goes into need to know hands if we're passing something off, because that person's going to be following up with you. So if 988 is recommending us and you call us or we call you, whoever you speak with, that is not retold, reshared information. It only goes into need to know hands. So if a clerical team member answers the phone and then they're passing it off to a access clinician who's going to be following up with that person. That's because that person needs to know who they're going to be following up with. So yes, it's really built into the core of who we are. And it can be really, really hard for, that's why I say it's brave and courageous for someone to speak to what their struggles are. I think that when someone shares with me their vulnerability, the first thing I think of is how brave, and thank you so much for trusting me with what it is that you're going through. So
Mm.
I would say that what's really important for all of us to do is to make sure that we're checking in on our friends, checking in on our family, our neighbors. Um, just a simple question of how are you doing? And then a willingness to truly listen, not judge. Don't, if you don't have the answers, you don't have to. So don't try to provide information that you're not sure of. Just listen, and that alone can make a world of difference by just letting them know you're there for them, and then
Yeah.
checking in with them after that. It's so incredibly important to make sure that we're just asking and not judging, and always listening. um
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's a really big piece.
What, and not always is it clear as day, the signs.
Right.
And your team and the staff there at CMH, they are trained to not only observe and point out some of those indicators, but also, as you mentioned, be able to educate the community, because in a lot of cases it's friends or family that are the ones that end up, saying, "Hey, you know what? I see something's bothering you. Let's talk about this." And hopefully um, they're keeping an observance on that person so that uh, nothing does happen. Is that right? I mean, it's part
Yeah,
of the educational side of it, as well as the person that is going through it too.
I think we all kind of have an intuition, like
Mm.
maybe like Lori's acting differently. Lori's usually here. Lori would typically never miss something like this. So a change in behavior, it could be a sign. A reclusiveness. We're coming into winter. Winters can be typically very hard. The sun's out less. There's less activities for the communities for people to be involved in. Um, Although Ludington's doing a phenomenal job of
Yeah,
more and more
no, great.
activities
Yep.
all the time, which I love. But yeah, there's less typical opportunity, and with that sun being gone is too, the days are a little shorter,
Mhm.
darker. So yeah, that all plays into it. So watch during those signs, and take seriously if someone happens to mention to you, maybe like, how have you been doing? Oh, I'm okay. There's something there. Maybe ask a little bit of a deeper diving question to find out what's going on. You're never going to regret caring, asking, and doing everything that you can. So I think it's so extremely important. But pay attention to those warning signs that are just simple changes in behavior that you don't think that it's normal for Lori to miss this event. She would typically have been here.
Mhm.
So then check in on, your friend and your family member, your neighbor. Hey, I haven't seen you come out of your house as much. What's been going on? Is everything okay on your end? Just knowing that someone's there and cares alone is really a great first step and it's a good warm feeling. If my neighbor were to check on, hey, I haven't seen you much this winter. Is everything okay?
Mhm.
That's a pretty great feeling, just knowing someone's thinking about you and cares. So it's those little steps that mean the world.
And there's a lot of people that will say, and I hope I get the term correctly, but and I'll do it as vague, and maybe you can help me clarify. Is that it's so more it's so much more important for somebody to be in their lives rather than gone and have committed suicide. Uh, because you do, if those that have committed suicide, the ripple effects that they've left afterwards to their family, to their friends, to the community in general, that sometimes they just don't realize what they'll leave behind, and that's that's something that should be talked about, and I would assume is talked about, right?
Yeah, and like you were saying, so one thing that's really important that I do want to touch on is language matters. So it's really
Mm,
important to make sure that we're being mindful and not trying to cast blame or shame on what someone might be struggling with or going through.
mm,
So when you are when you're speaking in regards to suicide, you would maybe say suicide attempt or attempted suicide. We don't
okay,
want to say things like committed suicide because that can have blame or shame wrapped around it. Um,
okay.
Also, died by suicide or suicide death, things like that, that we want to make sure that we're always being mindful of saying. And this is new information, even to me, but this is part of the zero suicide work that we have learned as an agency in the past year. So this is part of when I say we have a good fight to fight, it's making sure that we're having these conversations and that people are learning these things as they're being discovered. And it was funny because I recently had a training around that. And I never once thought that there was shame around it, but after I sat there and thought about it, I thought, okay, I can see how someone might feel that way. And having that insight. But yeah, we have conversations that we can start with the people around us. Just be direct. We know that talking to someone about suicide won't cause or increase suicidal thoughts, but it or cause that person to act on them, but it can help them feel less isolated and scared. So,
Mm.
and be hopeful. People can do that together and encourage people to seek help. Those are all really important steps to take.
Well, just in the terms that you mentioned a moment ago, I could see myself and probably did just previous to that saying that. But when you say, "Hey, if saying it this way,"
Mhm.
that it sounds encouraging
Yeah.
to be able to help others and to be able to have that conversation. Lori, we haven't really dived into, and I want to get to the second part, the walk for hope, but I do want to dive into this particular topic as part of Suicide Prevention Month. When we were going through COVID and and a lot of, and especially during the winter time, I know we're going to have this conversation again when it comes to being inside more, as you mentioned. But now that we're a few years from COVID, is there sort of a trend? And I hate to use the word trend because it's not what I'm trying to get at. But is are there factors that are in uh, individuals' lives that are pushing them to thinking about suicide that are among our communities in Mason, Lake, Oceana County? Those that we talk about finances, and we talk about family issues, and maybe unemployment and other factors. Is there something that you see is and everybody is different, and everybody is equal in regards to what pressures them or what stresses them out, but do you see things that are happening in our community that we can know about that maybe we can help others?
I think everyone has their own personal struggles and processes things differently. So it's extremely important that we are always having conversations about awareness. So yeah, in a rural area, there, like I said, there's a little bit less to do maybe than there would be in a big city.
Mhm,
So we want to make in months like the winter. So we want to make sure that we're always doing things to keep ourselves active, even on the tough days. Get ourselves outside, have
mhm.
conversations with friends, reach out to your friends, check in on them, and notice warning signs. But then also, if you're having struggles, make sure that you have identified a group of people that you can speak to, that that you could go to them and let them know I'm having struggles, I'm having a tough time. So for sure, they're in our area, of course, but just like in any area, there's stressors that are different, that might be job related, financially related, weather related. but we never know what someone's journey is and what they're going through. So it's extremely important for us to always make sure that we are staying equipped and aware and checking in on those that we care about.
Hmm. Let's, I know this is a deeper conversation that we want to continue to have. With it being September and Suicide Prevention Month, we certainly want to be able to educate ourselves more, be able to help others, be able to help ourselves if we are in those times where we need to, we need to stop and say, hey. What resources are out there? What conversation can I have with somebody else to be able to discuss this and try to get to more of a positive light, to more of an encouraging step forward rather than feeling maybe stuck or backed in a corner or feeling alone in that sense. One of those events coming up tomorrow, Waterfront Park in downtown Ludington, and this is very different than what was last happened last year and the previous year, where it was a walk from the CMH offices down to the courthouse. Well, you have decided to expand it quite a bit and be able to provide these agencies and resources and organizations at the fingertips of the entire community in one spot tomorrow, right?
Yeah. So tomorrow, September 9th at Waterfront Park, also known as Marina Park in Ludington, we're holding our second annual Walk of Hope. So this um, event is made possible by the Lee and Joan Shaner Fund of the Community Foundation of Mason County and Jamesport Brewing Company and their Round Up campaign. So it's really important to us that this Walk of Hope, we're walking so no one else has to walk alone. Every step is a message. You're not alone. There is hope, and hope is real. So it's extremely important to us that this event, we did change it up from last year. Last year was our first go at it. We worked out some kinks. We decided how we wanted to draw in more people. One of the things that we changed was the time of the
Mhm,
event. We know it can be difficult. I think last year it was 3 to 5. Um,
mm,
it could be hard from kids at school to get to. So we wanted to do it in the afternoon or in the early evening. But if you're in the
mhm.
early evening, we're hitting dinner time. So we wanted to make sure that we had food available.
Yeah.
And food is a big motivator for me. So I was all about that. So
Nice.
Lakeside Wiener Wagon is going to be there providing hot dogs. We'll have chips and water as well. And then the Ludington Police Department is going to be serving ice cream.
Mm,
So your whole meal and dessert will be available to you while you're
that's good.
supporting an incredible cause. So yeah, we're really excited about the event.
And it's a great way when you look at the fire department being there, Cove, the Leeward Initiative. You're talking Staircase Youth Services, which just did the backpacks at the Backpack Bonanza. You've got the MSU Extension Office and so many more. And we listed these in our Facebook page there. And we're talking about this event twice an hour after our weather forecast from now through tomorrow to make sure that as many individuals as possible can take advantage of this free event to be able to learn more, to be able to and as much as I do, Lori, is that we can be the torch bearers
Mm.
of those individuals in our lives that need that little encouragement and I could see many people in the greater Ludington community or in the 3 county area being able to say to somebody, hey, you know what, they have this event going on. I know you've been kind of struggling, and you don't have to necessarily talk to anybody about that, but being able to just be surrounded by the resources that are available, that's pretty powerful in itself.
We have so many resources that are going to be available at the event. I think for exactly what you just said, Chris, it's so extremely important. It is so much more than showing your support. You never know who in your life might need a safety plan that you might just be able to pick up at the event and then stick on your fridge. We've got
Mhm.
warning sign resources for adults and for youth. We have safety plans for adults and for youth. We have information on 988 words of hope, how to get how to anxiety coping statements. You never know when you're going to need support or
Mhm.
provide that. So to be there, to pick up these resources, to learn, um, makes you such an incredibly valuable ally in this struggle that we're trying to fight here and make sure that we equip everyone with knowledge and resources.
Mhm.
Um, I think that if you are looking for, I think in the back of your mind, you're hearing this and you're thinking, maybe I should go. Please go. Please
Mhm.
be an ally with us. Please learn what you can do to help support your loved ones, your family, your friends, your neighbors. You never know when you're going to need it, but to have that handy is incredibly invaluable.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we find ourselves in with having resources like this available, being able to give us another day and another day and another week and another month. Because as you kind of walk along that route,
Mhm.
you think, okay, this is, I can't take another step. But man, there's all kinds of things that happen in our lives that are like, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't do that because I would have missed that." And if we can continue to keep, again, that path, and encouraging those in our lives, to continue down that positive path or that encouraging, step forward, I think an event like this is so important. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, anything else about the event that we wanna tell the listeners and viewers about, before we wrap up today?
Yeah, a couple more things. We are also going to be having live music at the event. So we have a few members of the Third Coast Swing. It's a local and amazing jazz
Mhm.
band. So Stephen
Yeah.
Plummer and Ella J will be there performing. They did last year as well. So it's great music. They are so incredibly talented. We're also going to be having harm reduction items there as well. So Narcan, which is an opiate reversal agent, fentanyl testing strips, gun locks, and this is all free. The whole
Mhm.
event is free.
Yeah.
So please bring your friends, family, and people you pass on the street. Bring them with you to this event. It's so much more than what you're even thinking. And why not have something that's going to fill your heart, soul cup with just love and positivity so that you're able to be an ally with us.
Yeah, it's powerful,
Yeah.
and it's a great message, and it's going to be a great event. And Lori, we can't thank you enough for spearheading this, and for all of those organizations and agencies. There's an incredible amount of resources that are coming together, and so help us spread the word. Help us make sure that the community is there because. It's better to know than have it be a mystery, or it's better to know in advance, rather than scramble for those resources or that information. So we want to make sure that we're educated on this, and this is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Lori, I'll ask the question again. Anything else that we that we missed talking about in regards to this?
I think that's everything. I think the only thing I would end on is if you or someone you know is in need of help, assistance, someone to talk to. Of course, there's 988, but there's also West Michigan Community Mental Health. We're available 24/7, 365. And our toll free number is 1-800-992-2061. Please call us.
Yeah, that's great. Lori, I appreciate you a lot. Thank you for the conversation, and we'll continue to push the event, and we're going to be broadcasting live from it as well. And we encourage the community to come out. And again, it's Tuesday night, this Tuesday night, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. right there, Waterfront Park, the marina. And you don't want to miss it. It's going to be from everything that you've talked about today and that I've read. It's going to be a great event. So thanks, Lori, for being a part of it.
Thank you, Chris. You and your team so much. We're so appreciative.
Glad to do it. It is 102.7 Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. And if you missed any part of this conversation, of course, you can check it out at our Facebook pages, WMOM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. And of course, our YouTube channel. And we encourage you to come out, say hi to us. We'll be there again, broadcasting live. Come see the Hummer and our broadcast team. And let's make a difference. Let's make sure that we continue to protect and look out for all of our community members, friends, family, everybody, so that so that they can be there tomorrow and the next day and the next day after that.